name's Genesis. So as a child, I was sort of always taught to recognize my privilege. Whenever I would complain too much about something, my family would make sure to put me in my place. As a young kid, I would say things like, oh, I don't want to eat this, or I would throw away an unfinished plate of food. But there were kids all over the world who were starving. So as a young kid, I was always sort of taught to recognize that. A specific time where I recognized my privilege would be when I went to Hawaii. It was a great experience, but it's just not something that a lot of my friends could do financially, and it was just a wonderful privilege to be able to have that experience. And in relation to privilege when it comes to stealing, I've been very fortunate and never had been in a place where I would feel the need to steal.
Recently, I attended an event where I recognized my privilege. About a month ago, I visited my sister at Keene State College, where she made me accompany her to a social event which was a homelessness simulation. This event goes on yearly to help spread awareness of poverty throughout America. The intention of the activity was to show students what it would be like to be in someone else's shoes that struggles financially. Each group was assigned to be a family which came with an envelope. Inside the envelope, there was a paper describing the family's situation and lifestyle, along with the family's savings, job description, and health and education status. My sister and I were our own group. We were assigned the role of grandparents of Hispanic descent. We had custody of our two grandchildren because our daughter was in jail and her husband left their family. So during the activity, you had to act like this was your real life, and I had to attend work, and my sister had to drop off the children at school. We did not have a lot of money, and I was the provider of the family. I worked 40 hours a week for minimum wage at a convenience store, and my husband was disabled and diabetic, which meant he was unemployed. My husband only received a monthly unemployment disability check. Throughout this event, we had to pay for our mortgage, utility bills, healthcare expenses, transportation fines, and groceries. This project was extremely eye-opening to what it is like to be below the poverty line. It was very hard getting by week by week, and by the end of the event, we were not able to provide our family with its essential needs. I can definitely say this experience will stay with me, seeing how stressful the project was for just even acting it out for an hour. This opportunity evidently showed how I am privileged.
Hi, my name is Genesis. So as a child, I was sort of always taught to recognize my privilege. Whenever I would complain too much about something, my family would make sure to put me in my place. As a young kid, I would say things like, oh, I don't want to eat this, or I would throw away an unfinished plate of food. But there were kids all over the world who were starving. So as a young kid, I was always sort of taught to recognize that. A specific time where I recognized my privilege would be when I went to Hawaii. It was a great experience, but it's just not something that a lot of my friends could do financially, and it was just a wonderful privilege to be able to have that experience. And in relation to privilege when it comes to stealing, I've been very fortunate and never had been in a place where I would feel the need to steal.
The first time I felt privileged, I was walking out of a Walmart supercenter with my bags that I had just bought. The alarm went off, and I immediately got stopped by someone who worked there. They asked if they could see my receipt, and I quickly gave it to them, and they just looked it over quick and said that I could go. They stopped a Puerto Rican woman ahead of me and asked if they could see her receipt. Without even looking at it, they said that they needed to take her into their room to question her about what she had just bought and to go over her receipt. At that point, I felt privileged because if I wasn't a white female, would they have stopped me as well? I really think it's discriminative what they did, and I do not necessarily agree with what they did, but this is just how our generation is now, and it's very sad. If that woman got in trouble for stealing something that she didn't steal, I feel very bad.
So, we all have, in one point in our lives, shopped at stores such as CVS, Walgreens, and Walmart. Yet what many don't know is that these stores are all facing a similar problem. These stores are suffering from the loss of profit over beauty supplies because of shoplifting.
Oh yeah, my dad was talking about this the other day, but I heard that the perpetrators are not gender or age specific.
That's true. It's also hard to identify motives, although I have read a wide range of reports about why people steal, but I can never imagine myself doing it.
Well, some people steal because they can't afford to buy it.
And some people do it because they suffer from kleptomania, which is an impulse control disease. They also steal because they are either forced to do it by peer pressure or even just as a hazing act.
While some just do it for fun or because it poses a challenge, many shoplifters actually don't plan on stealing in advance. Shoplifting is a type of deviance which results from people trying to innovate in order to achieve their goals. If someone wants makeup, but they cannot attain it in a legitimate way, they may steal.
Regardless, that has become a problem. Luckily, I've never been put in that situation because I hate all the makeup that has the glitter and the shimmer in it, so I've never had a need for it. Except for nail polish, and then later in high school, discovering lipstick and wearing it for special occasions, and then, of course, to wear some cover-up for when I broke out. But otherwise, I never really wore makeup. What about you guys? Do you think you could have been put in a position of stealing makeup?
Personally, I don't really wear makeup that often, so I don't think I would want or have the need to steal it.
I may have been put in the position of stealing makeup at some point. I wear makeup more days than I don't, and it is something really special to me. Due to its high importance to me, I considered going to cosmetology school for a really long time. I always buy the new makeup products from my favorite brands such as Too Faced, Urban Decay, and other popular names. Although, when I'm running low on money, I do have to go to department stores to get cheaper products that I need or want to last me the next week. I have to admit, I have thought about stealing these products before due to the fact that I didn't want to spend any money on cheap products. However, I never ended up stealing anything.
Well, there was this one time my friends and I were at Walmart and we were in the cosmetic aisle, and I only had $20 on me, and I really wanted this contour palette. I knew my friends were all stealing, and I was jealous that they were getting what they wanted, so I joined them.
How'd you do it?
I shoved it in my pocket because that's what my friends were doing. I feel really guilty now, especially because I'm the only one here that has done it, but I promised myself I would never ever do it again because of how bad the consequences may be.
True. The punishments for those caught can either be to pay a fine or serve prison time. There isn't a lot of consistency with these punishments for the guilty parties.
The issue is that thanks to today's technology, there are a lot of online blogs that encourage the behavior of shoplifting. Some call it luxury lifting. In these blogs, they give tips on how to properly shoplift without getting caught and what store to go to or not.
That is also a form of social disorganization, where some members of society are encouraging others to deviate from the socially accepted morals of society.
Except for those who suffer from kleptomania, which is they have the impulse to steal. People should know what is right and what is wrong. Sadly, this can result by having a poor education where they should have been taught the basic right and wrong.
Children need to be educated early on during their socialization process. Deciding whether to steal or not is a part of someone's moral development when they learn right from wrong. Primary socialization groups such as family should put more focus on the issue, and negative peer groups need to have less influence.
Some kids most likely have already been taught right from wrong, but yet they simply choose to ignore what they have been taught.
True. And also, I know from personal experience that if a child, if they are too young, they may not understand what they're doing is called stealing and that it is wrong.
So there must be something stores can do. How do we put a stop to people shoplifting so much? All of these stores are losing so much money due to the fact that so many people steal their makeup products.
In the past, the surefire solution for everything was to set up cameras in the stores to watch all this. But unfortunately, this doesn't always work due to cameras' blind spots. And also, in the UK, a husband and wife involved their child in stealing 2,800 pounds of US British money, which is an equivalent to, in US dollars, 3,728 and 37 cents of cosmetics, while the overweight husband bulk screened all of them from the CCTV cameras.
A solution would be to make it so that all of the real products are in the back of the store or behind the counter so that only the employees have access to them. Similar to stores like GameStop, where samples can be left out for customers to look at and test on display in empty boxes. So if someone went through the process of trying to steal, they would be left empty-handed.
That seems like a good idea, but will that be successful? Some people don't have the time to wait for employees to go into the back. Some stores don't even have a back. What about things like lipsticks, where it is impossible to have the container be empty?
That's true. And plus, for people who are like me, who don't like the shimmer and the glitter in the makeup and don't want it on their face, we want to make sure that what we're getting is free of that stuff. So we have to check them out.
It may depend on the store. If a lot of their makeup products are being stolen, then the amount of products companies are sending them may decrease. Then their consumers will lose regardless because they will have less products to buy. So for some stores, the inconvenience of having empty packages and making customers have to ask for the item when they go to purchase it may be better than having a small supply of products to sell.
What about items that can't be sold in empty containers, like lipstick or nail polish?
That would be more difficult. Again, it's up to the store. For cheaper lipsticks and nail polishes, they may decide to leave them out. But for more expensive ones, they could either leave one of the empty boxes or packaging that they come in out on display.
So there must be something stores can do. How do we put a stop to people shoplifting so much? All of these stores are losing so much money due to the fact that so many people steal their makeup products.
So that's all the time we have for this week's podcast. To all our loyal listeners, tune in next week as we discuss college and the issues of finance and dropouts. I'm Kayla.
I'm Kathleen.
I'm Genesis.
And I'm Samira.
Till next time, folks, have a great day.